make a graphic out of it too. You know, he's always like to put the final results on social media. We'll move on to the NBA because, as we always like to say, best time of the sports year and get the best of both worlds. And we're going to do that in this podcast. We move on to the NBA. And we've been trying to figure out what's the best way to encapsulate this kind of like weird, mundane NBA season that's going on so far. So we're going to do some power rankings. We're going to start this week with the Eastern Conference. Next week, we'll go with the Western Conference. So we'll pull out the full 1 through 8 ranking and put it on social media. But for right now, we'll do the first 5 of the Eastern Conference. You about to say something?
No.
Oh, my fault. I thought you were going to –
I wasn't actually going to say that. I was moving my mic. But what we're doing here is we all put our rankings in.
Mm-hmm.
We all put them in 1 through 5.
Explain what we're doing.
Yeah, 1 through 5. All 4 of us had separate rankings. One person's, Jake's, actually ended up being the consensus ranking, the average ranking of all of us. So that's what this is here.
Yeah. So
we're going to go 1 through 5.
The consensus, straight facts from Jake's mind, Eastern Conference power ranking.
Yeah.
The first team we're going to go – well, actually, I'll go from 5. I'll go from 5 to 1.
It kind of writes itself, though, in a way.
For these power rankings?
Like, in my opinion, this is kind of...
Jake's trying to say he's the most objective mind.
I just think that I'm not, like I feel like I didn't make any, big claims. The Nets going... Last year, the Nets were the best team.
I actually only have one.
But I like how you're explaining the process, because I do think, there's when we make these power rankings, you have your list originally in your head and you change it because you're like, nah, this team's actually probably better than this. You try to rewrite the script, you might be right.
Yeah.
So we'll go from 5 to 1. Number 5, we'll start with the Chicago Bulls. Just a very smart basketball team. 29th in 3-pointers, 10th, but 4th in 3-point percentage. And we talked about when we, a couple of weeks ago when we talked about they had the same kind of stat line, and it's just continuing. And all the things we've talked about from preseason to why they're the most impressive in the offseason to the beginning of the NBA season until now, nothing has changed with the Bulls. They haven't dropped off. They haven't started, fizzling out. They're just great, smart basketball team, fun to watch, and they got a bunch of players on that team who, are going for all-star bids right now.
A wise man once proclaimed long ago, Bulls might be nice with one extra piece. Turns out that one extra piece was Demar Derozan.
Demar Derozan, baby.
Who would have thought? He is 6th in the league, even though he's dealing with the COVID bout. 6th in the league and scoring 26.4 points per game. And he's been a huge reason as to why they've looked at him and Lonzo Ball. Mm-hmm. Lonzo Ball also another big piece. I think that he's looked great in a Chicago Bulls uniform and what he's been doing there. But I do worry a little bit because and when I said, the Bulls could be good, it was with the idea that Nikola Vucevic would be a big contributor, and that
he is kind of getting drowned out.
He's definitely.
It's not even that. I think he's playing poorly.
Well, and
he's only shooting 40%. I mean,
exactly.
It's tough.
So, and I think he's right.
I think that
he's
is
being asked to do some different things as well.
I think that's a testament to the Bulls, though, because we have them ranked in the power rankings 5, but they're the 2 seed in the East as we speak. So, I mean, I think it's testament to the Bulls how well they're playing. I was going to hit on the Vucevic thing. I think we're seeing him regress a little bit. I don't even think that's just other guys need the ball. I just think Vuce is playing a little poorly. Now, we've seen flashes of it in the past couple weeks with DeRozan missing some games, some other bench pieces being out. We saw Vuce go for 30 and 14 a week and a half ago. I think he could come back. But I think the big thing is that's a testament to how good the Bulls are, right? I mean, I had him ranked 5, as Jake did. I think you guys had him a little higher. But
3.
I think what we can say is they deserve to be on this list. 100%. We all had them on this list. So, I mean, I think my concern is the depth as it's been all season with this team. Alex Caruso is now a starter. They decided to do that with Patrick Williams
First
out.
in the league in steals, though. Put some respect.
But then your bench is Ayo Dosunmu, Derek Jones Jr.
Who all give you good minutes, though. Ayo Dosunmu.
Yeah, but that's first and second off the bench, and the rest of the guys are
Patrick Williams doesn't. Yeah.
Well, Patrick Williams is hurt. He's done. He's out for the year.
Oh, he's out for the year.
Yeah, he's out for the year.
That's
I'm
why
reading
they
the wrong
put
person.
Caruso in.
Javante Green.
Yeah, they are going to have an issue with depth, and they're also going to have an issue with especially their bigs. You get matched up versus, let's say the Atlanta Hawks, and you're going to have to defend pick and rolls with Vucevic, and Trae Young is the guy coming downhill at you. That is a hellscape.
Well, I see a lot of Vooch getting drawn out, and maybe he is playing poorly, but you kind of hit on it, Kyle. He's asked to do a lot of things, or he's getting put in spots he's not good at, he's not traditionally being put in. And we talked about how the Bulls were such a balanced team in the beginning of the season I have my guys who play well in transition, my Lonzo Balls, my Zach LaVines, but then I have guys who play great in the half court, my Nick Vooches, my DeMar DeRozans. And then the Bulls stopped playing in half court. and then Nick Vooch kind of got, it comes in little spurts. And maybe when you have guys that sit out, the half court games becomes a little bit more prevalent. Nick Vooch has a better game.
Yeah.
But they're more of a free flowing offense. I don't want to say rim running offense, but they're a full court offense, and that's just not where Nick Vooch signs. But that's a testament to how good the Bulls are. Nick Vooch doesn't need to sign.
Vucevic has got to be better on the boards.
But I think he's playing poorly.
I know he's averaging 10.5 rebounds per game,
right now,
but not 1.7 offensive rebounds per game. And as a team, they're 27th in the league in offensive rebounds. That's got to be better. Vucevic, if he's not going to make his own shots, he's got to rebound his teammates' misses, because 89% of his rebounds are coming defensively, which is a high rate. On average, it's roughly around like 75-25.
Right. Yeah. All right, we'll move on from this list. We'll go down to the number 4 team. That's the Miami Heat, a team that I was very high on coming into the season. I still am battling some injury problems right now. Struggling a little bit, 5-7 in the last 12. Kyle Lowry has his lowest three-point percentage since 2010. Also, fewest blocks per game in the NBA as a team. The Bam Adebayo injury might have something to do with that, most likely does. But that doesn't change their stature on our list. We still have them as the number 4 team in the Eastern Conference. And I think all things considered, when they get back healthy and hit a stride, this is not only a good team, this is a Jimmy Butler-led team. All they need is a glimmer of hope, and they'll take that to the bank.
Lowry's big for him too. I mean, I think that they've maintained their Heat identity, which I guess never was really a question, but Lowry fits perfectly into that. It does. It's a big, big, big detractor. And honestly, I kind of forgot it. It kind of slipped mind that Bam Adebayo is not going to be with them for such an extended period, which does knock their rating in my mind a little bit.
It's not too much longer.
It's like 4 to 6 weeks, I thought.
Yeah, but he's like 2 down.
I was going to say we're 2 weeks
2, 3 down.
Right, so it could be between
when I did my personal ranking, I took that into consideration. That the Heat team that we're seeing right now, they're struggling in 5 of the last 7. This is, not the Heat team that we're going to see, all things considered.
Yeah,
because they're 10 games without Butler too. They've missed. They're 5-5 in those games. So the more when they come back together, they'll be a lot more consistent than they have been.
And I don't have Tyler Hero's numbers off the top of my head. Not that he's a focal point of anything that the Heat does, but he's probably taking a little step back.
Take a step back.
Having your best players out. No one thinks of Tyler Hero as leading the Heat to the playoffs or anything.
Yeah.
So having your best players out is going to hurt.
You don't think about the play. Well, I think in terms of production, he should be doing more with the 2 best players out. Hero, just in this stretch of games, he should be, but his numbers should just be way higher.
No, but the type of player he is, and his game, he's a huge catch and shoot player. He exists within.
Yeah,
stars.
It helps, but I mean, like ideally, his usage rate has gone up and the stats have.
In his last 7,
it's not really a big.
In the last 7 games, he's only shooting 32% from 3.
Yeah, and that doesn't shock me. So then I don't get to knock on Tyler Hero.
The thing about the Heat, a month ago they were the second best team in the league to me. It went like Warriors Heat when the season was starting. I still think they can get back to that point. We're seeing a team that's just hit by injuries, right?
Yeah.
Not season-ending injuries, not at a bad point in the season. I mean, we're not even into 2022 yet. Playoffs won't even start until like the 5th month of 2022. So I think they're good. I think things I'm liking out of this team right now. One, we're seeing productive minutes from guys you didn't expect to, and I know they're given more opportunity now. But PJ Tucker just had like 23, 9, and 5, which was great.
Which is like, when's the last time PJ Tucker had a stat line?
The fact that we know he could do that means when I put you into a way less elevated role and I only need you to take a couple shots and give your effort on defense, he can still do that stuff. We saw Caleb Martin go for like 28.
I was going to give Caleb Martin a shout.
Yeah, 28. He had like 18, 16-point games as well.
Plus
him in an elevated role now is leading this team to where you put him in a reduced role and you can trust him. And I didn't feel that way about some of these players before. But when Jimmy Butler gets back, Bam Adebayo gets back and healthy, I think Bam will take a little more time.
And Lowry will gel with his new team better, too.
Yeah, Lowry. Dude, I think this team, the injuries could help them in the long run.
Yeah.
And they're still playing decent ball.
Something to be said about that. And the Heat are a team, Jimmy Butler is a star, that when ancillary players or role players start to shine like that and then they go back to their reduced role, Jimmy Butler is like, I know how to use that. You're not just going to go back and fade into non-existence.
Well, and that's
there will be a use for you now.
He's the type star that other players, and this is, I'm sure, why Joel Embiid loved playing with him. Like, he is a star that has the motor of like an Alex Caruso type guy, which not a lot of high level players, because he's not your go-to scorer. He can be. He's not your go-to defense. Well, he probably is in this case, but point being is he's kind of like a utilitarian, like you can put him wherever you need to type player, and that's great for guys like Kyle Lowry, guys like Tyler Hero, who we discussed need guys who can kind of do that sort of thing. So between him, Tucker, and Bam, you have like an incredibly grisly front for your defense.
It's a very gritty team. They've had this mantra pretty much since the bubble, since they got Jimmy Butler, and they're a stay the course team to me. A lot of teams will go up and down. They're a team that will stay even keeled, that will battle through injury, will battle through adversity. Just we'll stay the course, and at the end of the season, we're going to look up and the Heat are going to be right where they were at the beginning, and that's through all this adversity.
Going back to the list, that's where I was thinking from and rating them. Mm-hmm. So I had Bulls 5, which we did, but my 4 and 3 I had flip-flopped, who actually played each other tonight. So I actually had the Heat 3 and the next team 4, but I was looking at the team, the healthy team, the uninjured team, right? I'm not doing weekly power rankings in the NBA. That makes sense in the NFL, but give me a little sample size, and I know guys are coming right back. Mm-hmm. That's not how I'm going to power rank teams in the NBA.
You got a much more of a macro view in the NBA, much more. Especially when like you said, the injuries.
I'm not going to fast forward like 3 months from now who's going to be the best team, but like as of now, I know the Heat are fine.
Now, if these injuries, if Bam was a season ending, or if we're not getting it back till after the All-Star break, that changes things. But that's not the case. Moving on to now the third team in the Eastern Conference, the Philadelphia 76ers, who are two different teams when Joel Embiid is on the floor and when he's not.
Crazy.
Maybe a title contender, at least an Eastern Conference contender when he's there, and a lottery team when he's not, basically.
12-5 with him, 3-8 without him.
I mean, it's
they
simple.
Lost by 35 to the Grizzlies the other night.
It's crazy. So they're impressive little road trip the Sixers had. I like the 2 road wins that you guys had. And then coming home and defending home court too. So
double Charlotte.
Yeah, double Charlotte. That was weird. I actually thought
beat Charlotte twice.
when I turned the second Charlotte game on, I thought it was a retaping, and I was like, wait, no, they got different uniforms on.
And we play them in a couple weeks at home. I'm going to that game too.
It's crazy, but I will say I'm not down on the Sixers at all. I think when Embiid is there, I give you guys a fair shot against any team in the NBA.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have them third, especially above the Miami Heat team we just talked about, for the points we just talked about, right? Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo have been missing time, and the Heat played pretty good ball. Joel Embiid goes down. This has been the same song and dance that the Sixers have had for a couple of years.
Yeah, but I can't put that injured. He's got COVID. He got COVID.
I didn't say he was injured. Him being out. Him being off the floor. Yeah. He doesn't have to be out of the game. When Embiid goes off the floor, like when Embiid is not on the floor, the Sixers are a complete different team.
That has been the case.
I can't put him above the Heat for that. Not being down on the Sixers, but I can't put him above the Heat. So
here's the main reason that I think they will form like a cohesive team around Joel Embiid, and B, they should. They owe it to him.
They have to.
Well, they don't. I mean, Daryl Morey has said that he's fine to play the waiting game. Blah blah blah. Like I think in their heart of hearts, the Sixers know the clock has been ticking with Joel Embiid in terms of his prime. Is going to be shorter than other stars. You're not going to look up when Joel Embiid is 40 and he is like LeBron James playing with his son. Not going to happen. So not only should they have to, they also owe it to Joel Embiid. He's never had the closest thing he's had to a perfect fit at the guard position is Jimmy Butler, who we just discussed is not like a shoot. He's not your perimeter, take all the shots type guy, at least not at his best. So if you're able to flip Ben Simmons or Tobias Harris for a guy like Toby for, let me poll you guys, Toby for Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley, would you do it?
Yeah, do we have to take Marvin Bagley?
Yeah, you want Marvin Bagley.
Yeah,
Marvin Bagley wants
for the Kings. Do it for the Kings.
You want Marvin Bagley. The Kings finally started putting him on the floor. That's a good piece.
Well, and I'm
saying the Sixers would want him.
Well, he wants out too. He's like shaking his head no, and they're like, go in the game. No. What do you mean no? what do you mean no?
Well, yeah, I would obviously do that. But why not just do it for like?
And then you send Ben. Then you send Ben for maybe you play the waiting game for Dame. Maybe you don't, and you just take CJ McCollum, or you just take LeVert and another wing. Like these are ways that you build the team to Joel Embiid's strengths. You need a guy who's going to, and I think they will get him, which is why they're third.
I'm glad you brought up the Tobias Harris piece because I think a lot too much focus have been.
That's actually the perfect. I'm thinking in my head. That's the perfect trade, and the Kings would do it.
Yeah, I think
they're ready to move on from Buddy. Davion Mitchell looks great. Tyrese Halliburton's already a starter. You can slot him into the 2. So Buddy's fine to go. And then Bagley wants out. Let's upgrade the power forward position anyways.
They'd want to pick.
And maybe you go give him a pick, sneak in Harrison Barnes. You guys don't need Harrison Barnes. Give us a nice little stretchy wing.
Isn't Toby going in this deal? You're talking about Ben. What do you mean the power forward?
He's saying
Toby.
You want to put Toby at the 4?
He plays the 4 for the Sixers for like the past 2 years.
I don't know if I'm the Kings if I want Toby.
I don't know if I want Toby
either.
But his known position isn't the 4. And to me, he plays
He's played the 4 for years.
It's Sacramento, so I don't know how much of a choice they have.
Sacramento's current 4 is Harrison Barnes. I mean, Toby's a 4.
I was just about to say they play the same position. He plays the same position.
You would add a dynamic wing that they have not had. Like Harrison Barnes, they want to be Tobias Harris, hasn't been. Marvin Bagley was supposed to be like a game changer, hasn't been. So this is a chance to see if you want to see what your all guard lineup does.
All right, let's get out of fantasy land.
Yeah.
Let's get back on the Sixers.
Because I don't see what the
it would work.
But I'm glad we're on the Toby point because I think he's skating under the radar of a lot of this blame. We talked about at the end of the season last year.
You don't have enough Sixers Twitter.
Not for me, yes.
not for.
I love Toby as a person, as a basketball player. It's just like. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Am I missing all the Toby hate?
They're more down on Toby than I am, but I don't think
I'm seeing the Toby hate that y'all are seeing. The amount of it anyway.
He has like the game of Carmelo Anthony, current day Carmelo Anthony, without the ability to like get hot. Like that's my valuation of Toby's. I think it's timely.
Very disrespectful.
I think it's timely because I think Toby does get hot in stretches that don't matter. I think he does get hot. Like I don't think
against the Hornets.
Yeah, I don't think Tobias Harris is a bad player. I don't think Tobias Harris steps up in the time and the amount that the Sixers need to win titles. I mean,
that's the reason.
That's the reason.
It's not because Toby's a bad.
He's
player.
Not bad.
Toby could go for 26 any night.
And Kyle, most of those buckets will come in the second and third.
I'm not
saying
any night. I'm saying like just if he goes for 26, you're not surprised.
No,
he
has the ability, and that's why.
Those buckets will come at second quarter, third quarter, maybe early fourth.
Yeah.
But when I need him to step up and make a timely bucket for me, where's Toby at, man?
He's fine, but he's being paid like he's very
the contract's good. The other part of it, and which is why you're probably never moving him.
Who's
taking that
he's like 80% of what we need him to be, and that's why it's so frustrating.
Yeah,
it's just not
you can see that he could be there, but he's just not.
And we can move on to the next team after this, but I just want to. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say, but make no mistake, Daryl Morey will put his own personal stamp across the Sixers roster. It's coming. He's not just going to sit here with the pieces of all the former GMs and play it cool.
Prince is already on. That's Seth Curry. That's Daryl Morey.
Yes, but I mean, I'm talking serious. I mean, like you're the second, third best player on your roster are changing over.
You hope so, huh?
He will. There's no question about it. He moved. He got Chris Paul, then he got Russell Westbrook. He's not afraid to make big splash moves, as he's proven in the past. Like Daryl Morey's a big ego guy too. He will have his handprints, and we will see. I think, my guess, a very splashy move.
We shall see.
Hold up. Just can we actually say something about the Sixers and not just Toby and why they're here on the power rankings? No,
we talked a lot about it.
We talked about it. We really did.
I
just want to say that, like,
did we hurt your guy?
No,
Toby, man.
No, I don't care that much about Toby at all. I just want to talk about the actual Sixers.
Go ahead, man.
We've mentioned Toby and Joel. That's it. I mean, the only thing I have to say is they do deserve to be this high on the list. Is that one? When Embiid's healthy, this team's very good, 12-5. But two, in those games, we haven't seen an Embiid, Maxey, and Curry game. We haven't seen an Embiid, Curry, and Tobias game. We haven't seen this team really in full form
and
with
Maxey
everyone
hasn't
playing
fully
well.
learned how to play with Embiid yet either.
Yeah,
He'll get there.
Dude, and he has his flashes, right? He has his stuff. Now Matisse is back. This team is deep. They have good bench pieces. Andre Drummond's probably the best backup center in the league. I mean, there's a lot going into how this team can be great, and they haven't fully gelled yet. I think the Sixers really could be a great team.
Yeah, me too, and that's why I have them third because you ride Embiid for 3.5 quarters in the playoffs, and then when they stop calling fouls and he's tired, You have someone else to give the ball to. Maybe it's Maxey, maybe it's CJ McCollum. We'll find out.
Seth.
Seth Curry, maybe.
It's Seth. Currently.
I would. My option for me would be Seth Curry. But we can move on because we have the second team, number 2, the defending NBA champions, the Milwaukee Bucks. Very similar to last season. They come in 2021 6th, an offensive rating 8th, and defensive rating of 62% win percentage. Last year, at this point of the season, 6th in offensive rating, 10th in defensive rating, 63% win percentage. So they're on the same course as they were last year. Why wouldn't they?
They've completely rebounded from their championship hangover.
I was just about to say
total last season stats. Just putting that out there, but they're just like, my point in putting that in is that this year they're just playing the same ball they played last year, and we know how that ended up. They were NBA. I don't know why I couldn't think of saying NBA champions, but they were NBA champions. Giannis numbers are the exact same, right? 28 compared to 27, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, this team's doing exactly what they did last year. Drew Holiday has taken a step up. Middleton has taken a step back, and that's like the small change. But they still do the same things. I think the Bucks are very good.
They're 12-3 in their last 15. They're just the Bucks, and the Bucks are the champions.
The Bucks.
Have they narrative time? Have they reached that level where their standard is just excellent basketball team? They're just the Bucks that's what we expect from them at this point.
I would say
with their current roster, I think they have.
And Dante DiVincenzo will come back at some point this season.
This week, he's coming back tonight.
Do we know what the deal with
he's coming back
Lopez
tonight.
is though? Lopez has played one game this year out they had surgery on his back, which it's not like you ever get better from a back injury. You kind of just have a bad back. Like so I don't, and he's up there anyway. Brooks is up there anyway. So
he got COVID.
I would say that if he's not like the same stretch splash mountain,
return date uncertain.
Yeah, he got COVID.
He hit some big shots in the Nets series that they're not moving on without. So I don't know. I think it's. We'll talk about the Nets here in a second. I think I might like the Nets going in, even though they won the champion. Even though the Bucks won the championship, I still like the Nets as my best team.
I don't think you need Lopez personally. I think Bobby Portis is just way better, anyways. Now it would help to have Bobby Portis and Lopez. Like, of course, that's always good to have two guys. But I think this team's strong. I think Portis is a piece they didn't have last year to this level, at least. I mean, and I was wrong about DiVincenzo. This man went out and got COVID. He was supposed to play tonight, but Matt was right. He's going to come back, right? I mean, so I think I agree with you, Matt. I think, or James, you said that. I think I agree with you. They're just like the Bucks. This is their standard, right? And they were a team that before last season you could look at chokes in the playoffs. Giannis isn't good in the playoffs. Well, all that's out the window now. So let's see what they do this year.
And I mean, it takes a certain level of team to hit that pinnacle of, or that plateau of greatness is what we just expect from you. But I do kind of agree with you with Brook Lopez. I've always been like a little bit of a Brook Lopez.
You got to respect.
I love when Brook Lopez snaps, but I think he's one of those players that you may not notice his complete impact until he's gone. Like a Danny Green for you guys, or another role player that when he goes out, Brook Lopez is a very smart player, one of the smartest centers in the league. And without going out, Bobby Portis may have more talent, maybe a more electrifying, more exciting player. I think Brook Lopez is a smarter one, and you just need that on any title team.
I agree. You want them both. Portis is the
It's really funny how fine the line is in sports, because if KD's shoe is a size smaller,
seriously, we're not talking about any of this.
We're not talking about the Bucks as like the standard, or we're talking about they fired Budenholzer, they're out in the second round again. Can they? Yeah, they're good in the regular season, but it's just the fine lines in sports are always so interesting.
But he's not. He's a 14, not a 15. And the Bucks are champions.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
And the Bucks are champions because of that. Now, the Bucks are the same team. They look like the same team. Actually, a little bit better defensively this season, which is scary. But without PJ Tucker, and that's for whatever role that is. PJ Tucker played a piece on a title team. That's a big loss or no going into that, because I'm like you, Kyle. I look at the NBA season at a macro level most times. Unless I'm trying to look at something very specific. And I'm kind of projecting, but a piece like that going to the playoffs, who fills that? How do you get over?
Well,
that?
It's not the PJ Tucker role. That's just no longer a part of the team. Now they added like a Grayson Allen this year, who's been very productive minutes. Jordan Nwora is a good rookie. There's different things that the team does now to where they don't really miss PJ Tucker as much, right? Do they fill that role? No. but they don't need to. The
Well,
team's just
change your
different.
team's
They play
identity
the
a little
Bucks, right? They play the Bucks type of basketball, and now this year it's with no PJ Tucker.
But PJ Tucker played the Bucks type of basketball.
Sure, but now it's just
defense
different.
first minded.
But now it's just different.
I guess. Does that change the makeup of your team though? Like how do you
It's like the
It's
play
small-
PJ
Brandon
Tucker.
Miller?
I mean, it's PJ Tucker.
I don't know. Who do you like now? Giannis is following Durant around, which he probably should have anyway. But now you can't like give him relief with PJ Tucker. I mean, who's your defender on KD in the playoffs if they do match up again? Which if you're projecting, if you're projecting
Giannis
these
was
two
looking.
teams at the
Giannis
top,
was looking coaches in the faces anyway and saying, "I'm guarding him." Like that's my guy anyway. So like maybe he just goes back to that. Like
Maybe.
Giannis will gladly draw to the first defensive assignment.
Yeah.
And if you're a depoy, then that's what you do, right? Like that's what you do. We'll move on to that team that we're alluding to, the team that Kevin Durant plays for, the Brooklyn Nets, being number one in the Eastern Conference power rankings.
Crazy.
Which is tough for us as a show. Because we said that when they weren't going to have Kyrie, that you couldn't stamp them down as a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, and here we are stamping them down as the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. The only team in the East with single-digit losses, so it's I don't know how you don't put them at number 1, 20-8 overall, and they have maybe the MVP frontrunner jostling right now with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, who to me that's amazing. His age after his injury. He's coming out, what I think he's averaging, 31, 32 a game right now, something like that.
29.6.
So
Just went for 51.
51.
And in his words, that's light.
That's light.
He told Cam Thomas, that's light for me.
Yeah.
That's number 1
Which
team.
is tough. I miss
Yeah,
Cam
that's
Thomas.
tough.
I miss Cam Thomas as a 6th string. We didn't even get him.
Yeah. It's crushing that he
For
had to
the-
go to the Nets.
For the Nets, though, it's a testament to how good Kevin Durant and James Harden are at basketball.
And Harden's having his worst year in a while,
but
too.
he's still just playing
The-
good. He's still playing well.
For me, that's why I really rate the Nets, because I think Harden's going to get better this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that he's been slumping and they're still the number 1 seed just shows that I think by the time the season's over, they'll win the regular season East by like 6-7 games.
a lot of people, you have to understand there's a level of being a superstar in the NBA, right?
Okay.
Like there's superstars in the NBA, but then there's KDs and Hardens, and now they're on the same team. Steph's in that category. LeBron's in that category. You can't throw too many other guys in that category. They're
To
on
be
the same
fair,
team.
Giannis is in that
Giannis,
category.
I wasn't naming everyone.
I know.
I
But if we're talking about
there.
Eastern Conference competitors,
Yeah, I put Embiid up there then. But now you got both of them on the same team. They're that good. KD is that good. He put up a light 51, as you just said, right?
Mhm.
Who they got to go do third? Patty Mills,
Don't
LaMarcus Aldridge,
Here's
and
a
I like
crazy
Patty
thing.
Mills, but it's like, dude, this isn't the makeup of a team that should be first in the these top heavy teams don't work in the NBA.
I would agree with you if Patty Mills was not shooting 44.7% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. That's
Yeah.
like no joke. That's like
That's
real
money.
usage.
That's a
Yeah.
3-point shooter.
So, we go back to a time where so LaMarcus Aldridge and Patty Mills both 10.4 shots per game. I haven't looked this up, but I'd imagine that the last time that they were doing that, they were probably on the same team in San Antonio many, many years ago.
right.
So you're getting production now out of guys like LaMarcus Aldridge, who had to retire, like Patty Mills, who I think was an afterthought. So and we can move to the elephant in the room, if Kyrie Irving does come back, I guess we have to view that as like kind of like the bow on top. That's the bow, or
Gotta be.
should we do the same thing we tried to do last time and be like, nah, it's gonna create problems on the court?
I can see it because here's what I see for the Brooklyn Nets. I don't even think the Brooklyn Nets. I think I can get better as an offensive team. Like I think that we can see a better version because I don't even think James Harden is becoming the scorer that he can morph into if Kyrie Irving continues to be out. He's still only averaging 20 points a game right now in the league, and I don't think he has a score first mindset. I still think he has a facilitate first mindset when he's playing. The longer Kyrie stays out, the more that goes back into a score first mindset because now I'm definitely the second option on offense, and that's never going away. And if James Harden gets back to a score-first mentality, a score-first mindset, the Nets could really break this thing open. And they're already one of the best offensive, not the best offensive team in the NBA, led by Kevin Durant. Let James Harden creep up into the top 10, top 15 scorers in the league. And now I don't care if they might be top heavy. They're winning championships.
Yeah. And Harden just started taking more shots.
Mhm.
Like there was a stretch of games, probably could be a month ago now, where Harden was taking on average of through 7 straight games, he took like an average of like 13 shots.
Mhm.
It's not James Harden.
That's not James Harden, man.
Especially on a
That's
team
a-
where the third option's Patty Mills.
And he's still averaging almost 10 assists and
Yeah.
8 rebounds a game. Like
He's
he's
leading
still,
the Nets in
I think
rebounds.
this team
Yeah,
is just
man,
that
he's
good.
still doing
man.
everything.
You got like random guys playing a lot of minutes.
Mhm.
Like DeAndre Bembry playing a lot of minutes. Like Nick Claxton was a key piece of that team before he got hurt. And I like Nick Claxton. But the way that this team is just getting it done night after night with whoever's on the court, as long as KD and Harden are there, it's fine.
F it, we ball.
You got David Duke playing some minutes the other night.
Yeah, we ball.
It doesn't even matter.
We
It
ball.
doesn't matter who. Joe Harris, I mean, he could play. We know he could play.
We ball. Give LA some minutes. We ball. Like
It's ridiculous.
And
that
Blake's
he's
not
like-
even playing, bro.
Yeah, he's the
Blake got phased out.
Marcus Aldridge is like the knife twist. Like, oh, we finally we held him. It's not Durant. It's not Harden taking the shot.
right,
You look over.
the third pass
It's LA 15 feet away.
Cash.
Cash every single
off
time.
glass. Off glass.
Doesn't jump.
Right.
Just,
You look
Oh.
over. He's standing there every possession. What are you gonna do?
Waddling back on defense
Yeah.
too. Oh
Tough.
man, that'd be tough. There goes our Eastern Conference.
I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
The team that we did not mention in this is the team that leads the Eastern Conference in point differential is not in the top 5 on our list.
Is that?
That's the Cleveland
I was
Cavaliers.
gonna say the Cavs,
the Cavs.
the surprise team. And hey, let's
Just wanted to give a quick shout out.
yeah, a little comment. We realize that the Cavs are 4th in the Eastern Conference right now. We realize that the ball that they're playing, but it's a macro view now.
Yeah.
Low key
Macro
contenders
view
to
now.
get Ben Simmons.
So
Keep it in the back
here
of
we
your
got it. So Matt had the Cavs at 6. I had the Cavs at 7. James had the Cavs at 8.
mind. I would have the Cavs at 6.
And yeah, Jake didn't go past his top 5, so 6.
So I'm a slacker.
So it sounds
6.
like actually I'll do it right now. Yeah, Cavs would have been 6 on our rankings. Actually, no. Where would you have the Celtics? 7 or 8? Or out of that?
Out of spite, I might not rank this.
All right, the Cavs would be our 6. So we hear 'em. If you had the Celtics 7, it'd be Celtics 6.
Jason Tatum didn't just spaz for a good
I-
one
I-
against
he
the
can do
Bucks.
whatever-
Against the Bucks, I almost
He can
like
do
wouldn't
whatever
blame
he'd
you.
like to do. He's still wearing that green and white.
I got you.